And now we're going to meet the two individuals responsible for directing Circus Couture, the annual charity show whose proceeds all go to this worthwhile cause.
Hi. And it's me, but not just me. To help me tell the story of Circus Couture, I would like to introduce my co-artistic director, fellow Circus du Soleil performer, and husband, Benoit Beaufils.
Yay!
Hello, Amy.
Hi,
and Benoit. Hey, I'm so honored to be on the show so we can talk about this venture and why we're both so passionate about it.
So, you guys, how many years have you been involved with Circus Couture?
So I started on year 3, which was 2011, as we've done 10 years, and I was brought on as the co-artistic director to help out Erica Linz, and then a few years later, I really needed more help, so
I joined in on year 5, and it was actually very needed because the show takes up so much of our time to create, and so when the first 2 years that Ross directed it on his own, I literally did not see him for about 4 or 5 months. So on year 3 that he was directing, him and Erica were looking for a co-artistic director, and they both came to me and asked me if I was interested.
it's easy.
I love that. Speaking of time, I'm just going to go right to it. How long does it take to put on this one-night event?
Oh my gosh, it takes most of our year, really. I think like from the conception, which usually takes place around February to when the show is actually happening, which is usually in the fall. It takes us about 6 to 7 months pretty much to create the entire show.
Yeah, like for example, this year's show is on October 22nd, but we started the first meeting and idea process about the show, like Ben said, in February. And then from then, once we have an idea of the show, we reach out to the performers that we know are going to help build that show, and we start writing the show together based around the acts and the performances that we know we're going to have, and from there we can work out what it is that for the fashion couture element we would like, and then we reach out to fashion designers.
Yeah, which is usually takes place around May. We always have a theme with the show, so we throw a theme at the designers and say, hey, this year the show is about this and the fashion runway is going to be about that. So come up with a design, and usually by June or July we make our final pick. So we have about 10 to 12 designers or designs that we use for the show, and that gives them about 2 to 3 months to actually create and make the garment come to life.
And then we have the quite difficult task of working out how we're going to crowbar or seamlessly fit in and incorporate 2 runway numbers around an entire circus show. So because they have to run perfectly side by side. So yeah, we have to put together and start rehearsing all of these acts, and then help the designers start rehearsing with their models and rehearse with the models themselves. So that's normally a bit later, about August, when we start rehearsing with the models, and by that time all of the acts should be ready, and we just have to then start rehearsing all of the transitions in between. And we work at the Las Vegas Circus Center, who donate their space to us to do all these rehearsals, and for about a month and a half up to the show, we're probably there on a daily basis for about 5 hours a day, rehearsing with the acts, rehearsing with the clowns, rehearsing with the models, rehearsing with the dancers, doing all the transitions, because it's a full 90-minute production that goes on, and normally some shows would have months to put this together, years even, and we really only get the space for one night, and we get a rehearsal in the venue the night before as well, so we only actually get onto our stage the night before the show happens.
And so most of our rehearsals is based on staging the whole show, like using the space of the Las Vegas Circus Center as if it was the stage, and really trying to find all the problems that we will encounter on the day we actually get the theater, so we can get rid of the problems before they arise.
So all of the technicians, you're doing the lighting, you're doing the sound, you're doing the models, the performers, like everything is done in like not even a 24-hour period, which is insane to put up that caliber of a show in like 24 hours.
Oh, it is timed down to like every minute is scheduled for those 2 days in that theater.
And let's not forget that there's also a whole stage that needs to be put up. Like, we don't perform on an empty space. Like, we have a whole set behind us that needs to be built the day before we can even start rehearsing anything on the stage. So it is very stressful.
Yeah. So how much money has been raised to date? Do you know?
I think we've hit $2 million, or we're very close to $2 million after 10 years.
Yeah, we've started to get to, every year now we raise about 300 to 350,000 each night. Well, each night of Circus Couture. So yeah, we're about all 10 years over $2 million now.
The goal being to hopefully at some point make it $1 million event. And that's why we need you viewers to come and actually support this amazing foundation and really to bring the event to what we really hope it will one day become.
So I hope that helps sum up exactly what Circus Couture is, and I know that you're going to stick around for the rest of the episode. So we're now going to meet one of the performers from the show itself.
A few weeks ago, we met Katie Ketchum, rollerblader extraordinaire and performer in Ka. Well, tonight we will meet her husband, Pierre-Luc Sylvain, also a performer in Ka, and he has been in every single Circus Couture show in the past 10 years.
So here's Pierre-Luc to tell us why it is so important for him to share his talent with Circus Couture every year, in addition to performing over 470 shows at Cirque du Soleil every year.
Hi guys, my name is Pierre-Luc Sylvain. I've been in Vegas for 15 years in the show Ka from Cirque du Soleil, where I'm the Firefly character, which is an aerialist doing an aerial duet straps. So it's pretty much a dance that I'm doing with my partner in the air. We're just hanging on one arm, going through the air about like 40 feet, going about 15 feet a second speed, and spinning and throwing each other and holding onto each other in a romantic, loving scene.
So Pierre-Luc, how many years of Circus Couture have you actually performed in, and how did it start?
Well, I've been in all 10 years of Circus Couture, and it actually started with my old partner, Erica Lins, that her mother shaved her head for the St. Patrick's Foundation, and she realized that shaving her head is a good thing to do and it can help, but with our special talents we can do even more. So we decided to create a show to be able to help out all those kids who has those terrible sickness, and so we started, her and I, to be able to raise some money to be able to do that first show. We started working in clubs after doing the shows at with Cirque du Soleil. Then we'll go out in nightclubs and do some shows, they were so nice to be able to give us extra money, so we were able to actually afford to do the first Circus Couture performance. I've done a little bit of everything for Circus Couture. I've done aerial straps, of course, in the major of those years, but I also did other aerial stuff and some character work, and in transition between acts and helping out to bring stuff on and off stage, and pretty much everything they needed, and more.
And why do you feel it's always important for you to give back to a charity event like Circus Couture, especially being Circus Couture? What's your reason and your connection for this cause?
Well, life is not always fair, and when you hear about those kids, 3, 4, 5, 8, just dying from sickness, And this hospital in Vegas is actually amazing, and they are treating everybody who doesn't have the money for it. They don't say no. They just welcome everybody, and it's a really good positive thing that to me it's very important to be able to help out. Anything could help, and if we're able to raise money by doing what we do best and impressive those kids, like it's really a wonderful thing. Thank you very much, Russ and Ben and Vegas Unveiled, for having me on you guys' show. And it's a pleasure to be able to do everything in the world to be able to impress people. Thank you so much.